Well, we do have an update tonight on a News 4 Tucson investigation. An elderly woman is still unable to live in her home after a plumbing business performed what the state of register of contractors describe as below standard workmanship without a permit. The News 4 Tucson investigators uncovered that she is far from the only upset customer. But now, for the first time, the company is speaking with the News 4 Tucson investigators, and our chief investigative reporter, Cora Nylander, has the latest in tonight's News 4 Tucson investigation.
For 3 months now, we've been investigating the plumbing company Elite Rooter after Sally Rendon was out her life savings and unable to live here at her home after hiring them to do a job. It's been 6 months and she's still unable to live here. Now she has to take the case to court.
Here it is 6 months later and she still can't come in because we can't make the proper repair.
Charlie Rendon is frustrated by how long it's taken to resolve their dispute with Elite Rooter and get his mother Sally Rendon back in her home. In August, she hired Elite Rooter to do what she thought would be minor plumbing work. She was billed over $12,000, almost her entire life savings, and received work the Arizona Register of Contractors determined didn't meet industry standards, and the company never had a permit. The Rendons also accused the company of forging Sally's signature on a contract.
It's taking way too long.
Right now, they are waiting for a court hearing after the ROC transferred the case to its legal department.
I'm saddened that we're going through all the legal channels and they're moving so slowly, if at all.
Since the News 4 Tucson investigators started looking into the company back in November, we found several other upset customers with similar stories and massive bills.
I wish they weren't in business.
Do you feel you're running an honest business?
Of course I do. We're running a very honest business. It's not just me involved. There's many people, a lot of moving parts. And if I didn't believe we were running an honest business, I wouldn't be here.
For the first time, Elite Rooter has agreed to speak with us. Armando Salazar is one of their managers. In the Rendon's case, he admits they didn't have a permit, but that's about all he feels they did wrong.
And sometimes it slips through the system. We try not to. We're putting different methods to make sure every property has a permit. But that's something, that's in the works, and we're trying to make sure everything is permitted that we do. But there is emergency responses where permits not get pulled right away to make sure you guys have service whenever there's any kind of issues.
Elite Rooter offered the Rendons a full refund of just over $12,000 if they sign an agreement releasing all the company's liabilities. Charlie Rendon refused to sign it, saying he's worried that damage to the home's post tension could be much more than that.
Depending on the outcome of the engineer, it can be anywhere from $20,000 to $30,000, and that $12,000 won't do justice.
Salazar disagrees with the ROC inspector's findings that the work on Rendon's bathrooms didn't meet industry standards.
Just for the fact that it's depressed, it's not even following what the manufacturer's specifications would be for installation.
And that at least one portion of the post-tension sheathing and tendon were damaged.
But if we did create any kind of damage to it, that is something we're willing to repair. The only question that I have for you, how did they come out with that conclusion without actually having access to the cable in itself? The cable is buried in concrete. There's no way anybody could see that unless they go ahead and break the concrete and see the cable. And at that point, they could create some additional damage to that cable in itself.
It needs to be opened up, and the cables need to have the proper repair before I'll take any money back.
We stand behind our warranty. We stand behind what we do, and we will be glad to repair any kind of damage that our company costs.
Salazar also denies ever forging any signatures and says he would fire someone on the spot if he knew that happened. He also says that they failed to meet the ROC's 15-day deadline to correct the issues because he claims the Rendons were not cooperating, not answering their phone calls, and willing to work with them. Both sides now will have to make their case before the ROC during a court hearing in March. Reporting from the South Side, Cora Nylander, News 4 Tucson.
And tonight we are now learning the Register of Contractors has suspended the company's plumbing license. According to the register's records, the company still has 2 open cases against their license. And if you have a story you'd like the News 4 Tucson investigators to look into, email us at investigators@KVOA.com, or you can call our tip line, the number right there on your screen. Well, still ahead on News 4 Tucson at 10 o'clock.